I'm Jim Jubak, and welcome to my YouTube video for October 20th. I went out and bought my Halloween candy. Try not to buy too much candy corn because we're kind of addicted to it here, so buy the other stuff that we can give to the kids. The Glasgow conference, the global warming conference, basically starts on Halloween. So is there a trick or treat message here? Like, trick, the world is going to turn into a cinder. Treat, maybe we can make the transition. Okay. If you want more of my stuff, you can go to my free site, jubakpicks.com, and that's a link down below. If you want even more of more, so 6 portfolios instead of 3, everything I post as opposed to just a selection of what I post, you can go to my paid site and subscribe, and that's jubakam.com. You'll find that down below. If you like this video, please like it. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you'll get notification of when the next one of these videos, this or the new one that I've started called Trend of the Week or the Quick Pick is going to appear. So anyway, today's title is 3 picks for a market that's grinding higher. We're near the all-time record on the S&P, hovering around it one way or another. And it's kind of a tribute to people's fundamental belief that the Fed is going to raise rates very, very carefully, maybe 2023 instead of 22. That global economies are, well, they're looking a little weak, but they're not, we're still going to see decent growth. The cash is still there. Goldman Sachs came out on Monday and said basically, hey, even though we're at extreme valuations, we've got so much cash sitting on the sidelines and it's got so few other places to go that it's going to go into stocks in next year. The big, I think, danger is that at some point treasury yields go high enough so that people do have an alternative. Today, the 10-year treasury yield is up to 1.62, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of money, but it's 32 basis points higher than it was a month ago. That's a big move for treasuries in a month. Anyway, so how do you cope with this market? Well, one of the things that you'll notice is that nobody really wants to put very much money into anything that's moving up quickly. And the response right now has been a big move and then sell off and then a big move in a different sector. So that, for example, on the 19th, which was yesterday, for reasons that are probably inexplicable, at least to me, we had a big upward move in alternative energy stocks. And a lot of that, I think, was simply that they were beaten down and were so cheap. So American Semiconductor was up a little over 4%. ChargePoint, the electric vehicle charging company, their shares were up 6.4%. SolarRun, which is a solar panel company, 6.1%. Big moves in a sector that's been doing pretty much nothing. Well, today, the 20th, this is as of noonish, most of those stocks were back down, not big sell-offs. American Superconductor went back down 0.35%, and other stocks are up. So today we've got a big move up in the shipping companies. So Navios Maritime, which I recommended a couple weeks ago, up 4.1% today. Danaos is up 1.2%. What's interesting here is not so much that those stocks have been moving up and these stocks have been doing. I don't see any trend here. I just see people saying, I want to be in the market, but I don't want to pay a whole lot. So when I get a 4 or 5% bump in a stock, I'll sell it or at least move my money onto something else. So in this environment, what do you pick? Well, I got 3 for you. First one of these is Ford. And you notice that Ford has been on kind of a tear since back in the early part of September. And it's up another 3.6% today. The big story here, of course, is that Ford has announced the production of an electric Mustang, and even more important, an electric pickup, the F-150 Lightning, which is, the F-150 is the biggest selling car, light vehicle in the United States. So the idea that this is going to be a electric version is really a big plus for Ford, and they've been taking reservations and they've been exceeding the number of reservations. So that's what's driving the stock here. And I think that's what drives it ahead during the rest of 2021 into 2022. And I think even though you're going to get volatility in these shares, as you got back here and back as you got here, I think that overall you're going to see higher highs, 1, 2, and I think we're going to put in a third higher high here that suggests that the trend is long-term trend is upward. Okay, let's look at a different one. This is not called Teladoc, TDOC. And what's interests me about this is that telemedicine is a trend that I want to own over the long term. It's coming. Lots of people are putting lots of money into it. Walmart, Microsoft, Amazon, they all think this is a big growth area. This is one of the few sort of large enough to be interesting freestanding telemedicine companies. And you notice what we've got here is I think it's put in a bottom. I think we've established some kind of range here, and we're starting to move up. So on 10-1 at 126 might have been the absolute bottom. We're now up to 142. It's up about 2% today, but it looks like it's got good momentum going forward. You know, we've been putting in lower highs, lower lows, but I think this one may mark the bottom. So it's something I look forward to over the long run. My third pick is actually an alternative energy stock. This is SolarEdge Technologies. They make inverters, power inverters, which is what changes, which takes the electricity generated by a solar cell and a solar rooftop panel, inverts it, and turns it into electricity that goes from DC to AC, and electricity that you can then put into the grid. What's interesting to me is that they're moving from being just sort of a maker of this one component, and in that component they've got a fair amount of fairly decent moat because they're really heavy in software, and that's something that their Chinese competitors can't really match. But what's interesting to me is in the last couple of days they announced a whole new backup battery system. So basically, you know, addressing the fact that when the sun doesn't shine, solar cells don't produce any electricity, but if you buy a battery system from them and as battery technology improves, I think this is the right direction. So what we're looking at here that's interesting is that if you look at this chart, you can see that on the 8th, we crossed over both the 200-day and the 50-day moving average, moved above it. I think, again, like in the Teladoc situation, we put in a pretty decent platform for growth in the price there, and I'd look at that going forward. So those are my three picks for this grinding market. I don't think you really want to get that far ahead of it. I think you want to follow what the market is suggesting, which is that you buy stuff on temporary dips, you buy things when they look cheap, and you move up a little further. I don't know how long this goes on. A lot of it will depend on what we get in terms of earnings for the next few weeks, and then we've got a Fed meeting in the very early part of November, on November 3rd, if I remember correctly. That'll tell us about how fast the Fed is going to taper. So there's still lots of stuff out here that's very volatile. You might think about hedging some of your bets. The VIX, which is the fear index, which is tracks how much people are willing to pay to hedge investments. So it's been falling. So right now you got a chance to buy cheap call options. I think the VIX is down to about 15.5. It's way below the normal range of about 19. So what I've been doing and recommending is buying the VIX at 15, trading it at 2021, and doing this over and over again because it just gives you some protection on the downside and also some profits on the upside. So that's my three picks for a grinding market. And if you want to see more of my stuff, go to jubakpicks.com down below. If you want to subscribe and see even more, 6 portfolios instead of 3, jubakam.com. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you get notification of when I do things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.